Okay, so we determine the total cost, okay, by multiplying the number of units we produce with my total cost per unit. And then, or actually we just, sometimes we just estimate our total cost, okay, based on the number of units we going to produce. And then we just add whatever percentage we want as a return on that. And then we get our total target, the total targeted money that we need, right? That will cover both our cost and also give us some extra money to enjoy. So we simply divide it by the number of units to get the price that we fix. Okay, that was total cost. And now here in margin, in full cost, okay, we go into more details. Okay, so we basically find out the total cost, but this time we take into consideration the fixed cost in details and also the variable cost. Okay, and then we just divide the total cost by the number of units we produce. Okay, and so we get the cost per bag or cost per unit. So that means you need to charge at least $7, right, to survive in the market or to break even. Do you know what break even means?
No.
Yeah. Okay, break even means you are neither making a profit nor a loss. That means the revenue that you are earning is exactly equal to the cost. Okay, so it is not a loss because you will incur a loss if the money you earn is less than the cost, right? But here it is not less than the cost, neither it is more than the cost. It is exactly the same as cost. So in that case, it is called a break even. Okay, so that means you can survive in the market actually. All right, you can survive. You don't have to quit. But obviously, you need to figure out a way or a new strategy to earn more revenue, to earn profit. So this type of method, which is called the full costing method, determines your total cost per unit. Okay, and this will tell you the minimum price that you can charge. That means as per this method, the minimum price you can charge is $7. Now it is up to you. Will you charge $7? Will you charge $8? Will you charge $10? It's totally up to you. But this method is telling you you need to charge the minimum price that you need to charge, which is $7 in this case. Okay. So if you use this method, okay, you cannot charge or you cannot fix your price at $6 or $5. Okay, because in that case you will be making a loss. So this method tells you the minimum return that you need to break even or to survive in the market. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So it's called full costing. Okay. Let's see what we have next. The next is called contribution pricing. Okay. So contribution pricing is actually you fix a price that contributes toward the fixed cost. So let me show you by using the example that we used. So okay, look at this. So if I ask you like this, what is, how do you find out total cost per unit? What is the formula?
Total variable cost plus total fixed cost.
Right. Total. If you talk about fixed cost first, total fixed cost. But remember, here the important thing is we're talking about per unit. So you have to be careful, right? So it can't be total fixed cost. It must be total fixed cost per unit. Per unit plus
variable cost
total variable cost is per unit.
Okay.
Now, let's look at this scenario. Okay, let's look at this scenario or this scenario. Let's say we are producing 20 bags. Right? Let's pick this. So what is my fixed cost per unit for producing 20 bags?
75.
75. Okay, now we're going to find it out. So
total cost per unit is $75.
Total cost per unit. Okay, we'll find it out. Okay, we don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We're figuring that. So $75 is my fixed cost per unit. Let's write FC FPU, fixed cost per unit. All right.
Okay.
And now we have to add, right? We have to add it with the variable cost per unit. And what was my variable cost per unit? Remember, it was $5, right? Per bag. Here, $5 per bag. Because that $5 includes $3 for my labors and $2 for the raw materials, right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
so it will increase the more I produce, but it is $5 per bag. That's the rate for variable cost. So I write $5. No. This is variable cost per unit. Okay. So that means what is my total cost per unit now, as per this formula?
It's 80.
It's $80. So what does it mean as a manager? What does it mean to you? That means when you fix the price, you cannot sell it below $80, right? Because that is your cost. That is the minimum money you need to get back, right? Otherwise, you'll be making loss. You cannot survive the market. You will die. Okay. All right. So this concept is very clear to you, Adam, right?
Yes.
This concept is very clear to you. Okay, good. Now, so usually for some farms, okay, the fixed cost is too high. Okay, for some farms the fixed cost is too high.
Sure.
So in that case, if your fixed cost is too high, maybe you need to consider a different approach to price your product. Okay, so maybe
Increase the price.
because fixed cost, maybe you have invested in a very expensive factory, very expensive machines, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is why your price will be too much. If you charge them $85 or $81, even $80, the price might be too high for them. Okay. So what you do is maybe on purpose you reduce it. In this case, maybe let's say you charge $20. Okay. In this case. Now, the thing is, when you're charging $20, how much of this $20 is going to cover your fixed variable cost? When you're getting $20 from the customer, let's say for every bag.
All right.
Out of this $20, $5, let me show you, $5 is covering your what? Variable cost, right? Variable cost. But that is not enough, right? Because we need to also cover what? We also need to cover
Fixed
cost, right? So out of this $20, how much is covering my fixed cost?
55.
15.
15.
Yeah, because
20.
$5 is going for variable cost. $15 is covering my
Variable cost.
fixed cost. Yes, and so that is why this $15 is called the contribution margin. Okay, and I'll write it down here. Therefore, $15 is my contribution. So why are we calling this contribution? What's the reason? The reason is because many farms are worried about their fixed cost, right?
Mm.
Like obviously your price must cover the variable cost, because variable cost is running expense, right? Variable cost means the cost that you pay to the labor. If you don't pay the labor, they will kill you. They will stop working and they will leave, right? And then you need to buy materials from China. If you don't pay them, they will not supply you with the raw materials. They will say goodbye. So that means you must at least cover the variable cost. Okay. And whatever is left, that means in this case $15, that will cover your fixed cost. Okay. So maybe it will take 5 years, maybe it will take 10 years, we don't know, to cover the entire cost. All right. So that is why this $15 is called contribution. Now, is it clear up to here?
Yes.
What's contribution? Because this money is contributing. This money is helping you to cover up your fixed cost. All the fancy machines that you bought, all the expensive factories, the posh factories you bought. All right, this $15 is helping you to cover that fixed cost. So this is your friend. This $15 is your actual friend. That's why it is called contribution. Now,
Okay.
This $5 is your necessity, right? It is necessary to survive, but $15 is
Yeah.
your friend because that helps you to cover the long-term costs. Okay, now let's go back to the book. So in contribution cost, what you do is, let's look at this example. A farm produces a single product that has direct cost, direct means variable cost of $2 and fixed cost are 40,000 per year. Okay, so this is the cost of all the machines, the buildings, okay, everything they have bought. Maybe they bought a really advanced machine, okay, high-tech machine. So this 40,000 is their fixed cost. So that means if their contribution is $1, okay, the selling price will be $3. Because out of this $3, $2 is covering the variable cost, just like we saw here. This $2 is the direct cost, which means the variable cost. So, and the other $1 is my contribution. That means my other $1 is going to cover up my fixed cost, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand, Adam, or should I explain again? So,
The one.
so let me explain you. So if my variable cost per unit is $2, okay, and I decide my contribution. Contribution is something you can decide, right? For example, remember in our example, previous example, we decided that our price is gonna be 20. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
Normally, if I include the entire fixed cost, normally it will be $80, but that will be too expensive for the customers, right? So that is why I reduced my price to $20, and it was my decision, right? I could have also made it $50 if I wanted, right? So if I charged $50 instead of $20, in that case, what would have been my contribution? Tell me. My contribution.
$50 instead of $20.
Yeah. In that case, what will be my contribution? $45, right? Very good. Because out of this 55, 5 is going to variable cost, right? Covering my variable cost. So the rest 45 is covering my fixed cost, right?
Fixed cost.
Fixed cost, yes. So it is up to the firm or up to the CEO or the owner to choose how much contribution he wants. And that technique is used in the contribution pricing. So here the CEO decided, or the owner decided, that he wants $1 contribution, right? So your variable cost is $2, and with that you want a contribution of $1, right?
Yes.
So that means what is your selling price? Very simple. $3. Okay. All right. Now the question is, so out of the $2 is going to the variable cost, right? It is being paid to the laborers or to the raw materials suppliers.
Yes.
So if you just charge, or if you just keep $1 as contribution, how many pieces of your product do you need to sell to cover your entire fixed cost? Tell me. You need to cover for this 40,000. So on every product, you're getting $1 plus contribution. That means every product is helping you with $1 to cover this cost. It's giving you $1 to cover this cost. So how many products do you need to sell to get this and to cover this entire fixed cost? Think and tell me. It's a simple calculation. Every product is giving you $1. Giving you $1. I mean, obviously it's giving you $3, but out of this $3, $2 is your variable cost, right? Variable cost. And the rest $1 is actually contribution. That means it helps you to cover for the assets, for the machines, right? The bigger costs. Now the question is, how many products do you have to sell to get that money back, $40,000 back?
40,000 product?
Yes, very good. 40,000 units, right? Now this might be very challenging, right? What if there is too many competition? You might not be able to sell 40,000 units in a year, right? So in that case, what can you do? Maybe you can increase this contribution. So don't charge $1, maybe charge $2 as contribution. Okay.
Okay.
And in that case, your price will be 2 plus 2, $4. All right. So your contribution, you can play around with your contribution. You can increase or decrease it. Okay. Based on how quickly you want that money back, right? Because you need to cover the fixed cost. Maybe you took a loan from your father, you took a loan from bank, and you bought the machines. You built a factory. You need to get that money back, right?
Okay.
So in order to get that money back fast, maybe you can increase your contribution margin. All right. And
Okay.
if you think that no, the price will be too high for the customers, in that case, maybe you decrease the contribution, right?
Contribution.
You
Yeah.
decrease contribution, and the customer will also be happy. They'll get a lower price. Okay. So this is called contribution price. Is it clear now?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Oh,
40,000 units.
yes, 40,000 units in a year, because each unit will give you $1. Will contribute $1 to cover for that cost. So simple calculation. 40,000
But
bags. 40,000 bags will give you
the-
$40,000. Yes. Yeah.
if
tell
the
me.
higher contribution,
Yeah.
if higher contribution,
Yeah.
the higher the price for the customer to pay.
Yes, yes, obviously. If you increase if you want more contribution, the price has to be more, right? Has to be increased.
Okay.
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 All right. So that is contribution price. Okay. Now, if you sell, if you want a profit, okay. So for example, what they did here was, if they sold anything over 40,000, they will make a profit, right? Because this first 40,000 is helping them to get that money back, right? $40,000. So anything sold above 40,000 is the extra money they can enjoy, right?
Yes.
That money they can use to buy PlayStation games and DVDs.
That's
right?
profit lah. Just
Right.
above 40,000
Because their variable cost has been covered, and now
Yeah.
after they sold 40,000 bags or units, their fixed cost is also covered.
Yeah.
So every unit they sell after 40,000 is their bonus, is their profit, right?
Ah, okay.
Okay, you understand?
Yes.
Because now they don't have to worry about the variable cost. They also don't have to
And the
worry
fixed
about the fixed cost. All those costs
Already
have been
paid.
covered, right? All those costs have been covered.
Okay.
All right. So the rest of the money is their profit. So if you use this method, contribution margin, you can also get a target, right? You can
Yep.
know how much bags I need to sell at least to cover all my costs. Okay. So don't be happy if you are in this situation and you're saying that your sales is 30,000. You should not be happy because you haven't even covered the cost yet. You can only be happy after you sell 40,000 units. Okay. If you sell, for example, if you sell in this case 60,000 units, yes, you can be happy because in this scenario, you have covered your cost and you have sold actually extra 20,000, which has
Yes.
given you profit.
Yes. Understand, sir.
Good.
Well,
Okay.
business is not easy, eh?
No, nothing is actually easy in this life. But inshallah, we always pray and we try our best.
But so
Sure.
if it's like
If you have
small
knowledge,
thing, right?
for example, if you have knowledge, obviously things become easier. So for example, when you become a CEO after 5 years or 10 years, then you remember this, right? Different way you can fix your price. Okay, compared to someone who did not study these things, foundation year or the university, you will actually use random numbers, right? Or just some random way to fix his price. Or maybe he'll just use the price, whatever the price the competitor is using. But you'll be more smarter, right? Because you know how much cost you need to cover, right? And accordingly, you set your price.
Okay.
So knowledge always helps you. Okay. Anyway, there are some other concepts that you need to consider here. All right. And this is actually part of competition-based pricing. So the first concept is price leadership. Okay. Now, price leadership happens when there is a dominant firm in the market. When there is a dominant firm in the market. Okay. I think I need to explain you some other concept before we go into this. So Give me a second. Let me draw. I'll draw and I'll explain.
Dominant firm.
Yeah. Yes.
So if it's like a small firm, right? Is
No,
it
no, no,
like
no, no.
easier?
Dominance means you have the power. You are controlling
Oh,
everything.
I know what dominant is. I mean, like if you
Yeah.
have a small firm, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, will it be like easier to like to operate rather than a big firm?
Well, it might be easier, but you might not be able to survive it for long. Okay,
Oh yeah, true.
because the bigger firm actually might outperform you. Maybe since the bigger firm can enjoy economies of scale. I think I've told you about economies of scale. Do you remember what it is? Economies of scale is when the more you produce,
yeah.
the lesser your cost is. Okay. It's a technique used by big firms. The more you produce, the less your cost is. And when your cost actually reduces, you can charge a lower price to the customer. So the customer will not buy from you. They will just buy from the big firm because they were able to give them a better price. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Anyway,
Oh.
we'll discuss that later on.
Okay, sure.
So this chart is important. Okay. Here at the it's like a pyramid. Okay, let me actually draw the pyramid and then I'll explain to you. Or I can go step by step. Okay, that's not it. So it is called perfect competition in this situation. So in perfect competition, okay, you have similar products. Okay, lots of suppliers with almost similar products. Okay, so this is a situation or a competition where you have lots of supplier and with almost similar products. For example, you might say vegetables, the vegetable market. Okay, this could be an example of perfect competition. So that means you are selling potatoes and carrots, and everyone else in that market or industry is selling the same thing, exact same thing, potatoes and carrots. So there is no way you can actually distinguish your products, right? I mean, you can't really have a really put a good brand, and you cannot actually charge a higher price than your competitors, right? You have to follow them, right? You understand?
Yes,
So that's why firms in this type of market is called price takers. I will actually write that down as well. They are called price takers. That means whatever the price is fixed. Remember, price is fixed by the forces of demand and supply. In economics, we learned it, right? It's a natural process. Naturally, the price is fixed. So whatever the price is in the market, they actually obey that. They follow that, right? So everyone is selling potato for $10. You must also sell potato for $10. Okay. Now, what will happen if you sell it for $8? Can you tell me? Imagine if you're selling for. So in a perfect competition, okay, let's say everyone is selling potatoes for $10. Okay.
$10. Okay, $10.
$10. And you decide to sell the potato at $8 per kilo. Okay. So can you do that? Or if you do that, what will happen? Imagine.
You lost lah. You have loss.
You might have a loss, right? Because the competition is so intense in this type of farm that you're already providing at the lowest possible cost, right? So that means if you charge $8, that means you must be making a loss because no one else is charging $8. 99% of the suppliers are charging $10 because no one can charge below $10. Okay, that's the lowest possible price that they have considered. Okay. So that is the problem. That is the problem in perfect competition. And you cannot also increase the price because if you increase the price, obviously not a single person will buy from you. because there are hundreds of suppliers who are supplying at $10. So why should someone buy it, potatoes from you with $12, right?
So the price is fixed.
Right, almost more or less. Okay, so they
More
just
or
they just follow whatever the price is fixed in the market. Okay, they can't really decrease it, neither increase it. So this is called perfect competition. Okay, and there are many suppliers, thousands and thousands of suppliers, fish market, vegetable market. All right,
Yes, sir.
it's all of them are perfect competition. Okay, so then we go one step higher. All right, it's like a pyramid. So when you go one step higher, what we get, sorry, we go one step higher. What we get is oligopoly. Right? Have you heard about this?
Oligopoly.
Oligopoly. So that means few large firms controlling the market. So maybe telecom or the mobile phone company, they are in the oligopoly,
Oh.
right?
Okay.
So the competition, suppliers are not as high as in perfect competition. Okay, here the competition is less. Okay, and only a few, let's say 5 or 6 or 4 firms controlling the entire market. And that is true for many firms. For example, if you see the banks in Australia, there are only 4 banks. And all these 4 banks controls the entire banking industry in Australia, right? So that is called oligopoly. So in oligopoly, there is competition. There might be competition, or there might be price wars. Okay, there might be price war. So price war is when one of the competitor reduce the price to get the customer, and as a revenge, the other 3 or other 4 company also do the same. So price war could happen. Okay, price war might happen here.
Similar to trade wars,
right? Yes, similar. You could say similar. So let's say there are 4 companies. So one of them, everyone was selling $10, but then one of them reduced the price, and therefore all the other 3 has to reduce the price. And then the first company reduces the price even more. So it's like a fighting. Okay, it's a fight between these 4 groups. But nowadays they try to avoid them, because when they're reducing the price, what's happening? Their profit is decreasing, right? So price war is not healthy for them. So rather they join together, and then they make a deal among themselves that okay, we'll charge all of us will charge $15, just like mafia. And in some country it's illegal actually. If you join with other company and if you make any secret deal with him and fix the price, then it might be illegal. You might go to jail. Okay, so you have to be careful. You have to be careful, because ultimately, if you do that, what's happening? Because the people do not have any other option, right? For example, if you think about the banking industry, you need banking service, right? Every person needs banking service. So if the 4 banks together fix a price, then where will you go? You don't have any 5th option or any 6th option. You only have 4 options, right? So you are forced, in a way, you are forced to pay the price, pay the high price. Okay. So that is why this might be illegal in some countries. We'll discuss illegal. We might actually discuss about it later. Okay, don't worry. Okay. Anyway, so now we go one step higher. Okay. And maybe this is, we might call this as duopoly. Duopoly. Okay. Duopoly. So the word duo means 2. Okay. So duopoly means there are 2 large firms controlling the entire market.
Or only 2.
Only 2 large firms. Okay, that's why we call it duopoly. Okay, 2 large firms. So there might be some competition among them, but usually, since both of them are kings, maybe they will just try to improve the quality rather than starting a price works. And then once we might go even one step higher, and you can guess what this is called.
The dominant one.
Yes, that's the dominant one.
Dominant firm.
And it is called monopoly.
Monopoly. Oh yeah, only one.
Yes, the word mono means one. Okay, so this is the king. So in a market where there is monopoly, he is called, or that company is called, the price maker. Okay, price maker. Why is called the price maker? Because he decides what the price is. He makes the price. Okay, he makes the price. It's called price maker. Here, now imagine with perfect competition, they were price taker, right? The price was out of their control. But if you talk about monopoly,
The price maker.
he is in total control of the price. If he says $1, it's $1. If he says $100, it's $100, right? Because why? Because there are no other competitors in this market. Okay?
Is that a company that has monopolies?
There are some monopoly in some countries. Yes, for example, in I think in South Africa, there's just one company who has all the rights to produce diamonds, to extract diamonds. Okay, and to find them. So there are no competitors. If you want to buy diamond, you have to buy from them. Okay, so that's an example of monopoly. And there might be some duopoly as well. So for example, if you think about, okay, not really. Let's imagine in the world, there's just, in social media, there is just maybe Facebook and let's say TikTok, all right? So imagine if it was a market like this, then in that case, it would be a duopoly, right? And then there is some oligopoly as well. For example, if you look at some Middle East countries, some Arab countries, only a few large firms control the petrol, the oil. Okay, there are no other competitors. So for example, why are there no other competitors here? Can you hear me, Adam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Your internet got cut.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So there might be some monopoly. So imagine if Microsoft was the only provider of software. Okay. So in that case, it would be a monopoly. But they are not monopoly because there is now there is Apple, right? Or there is even Linux.
Yeah.
So that's why they're not monopoly. Duopoly, in a world, if there was just Samsung and iPhone, in that situation, if there's in a country where there's just Apple and iPhone, in that situation, it will be a duopoly case, right? And then if you look at some Middle East country, there are oligopolies there. Only 3 or 4 big firms, they control the oil, the petrol. Okay.
Yes.
Now, my question for you is, why doesn't new firm enter and fight with them? Why doesn't someone go and fight with Microsoft? Or why doesn't someone go and fight with Apple and Google?
They're too big, I guess.
Because of barriers to entry. I'll just write it down here. Okay.
Barriers to entry.
Barriers to entry, yes.
High barriers
to entry. So barriers to entry means, let me just copy this. I'll explain this in a moment, just a second.
Barriers to entry.
So barriers to entry means anything that obstruct you from entering the market. All right.
Oh.
So imagine about the vegetable market. So do you need a lot of money to start a vegetable shop?
No.
Not really, right? You just maybe you buy in wholesale, or even you can grow yourself. You can grow potatoes, tomatoes. All right. Or imagine if a fish market. All right. You don't really need a high cost. Maybe you can just hire a boat and a fishing net, buy a fishing net and catch some fish and sell them. Easy, right? But
Yes.
think about oligopoly. For example, if it's a telecom, 4 firms controlling the telecom industry, or 4 banks, or even 4 oil companies, petroleum companies. So do you think it's easy to open a petroleum farm or an oil
No.
farm or a bank? It's not. Why? Because first of all, you need lots of money.
Yeah.
Second of all, you need lots
Neighbors.
of experience,
Experience.
right?
Yeah.
Or maybe even a license. You don't need a license to open a vegetable shop, right? But here, you need a license to operate as a bank or to operate as maybe a petrol company, oil company, right? So
Yes, sir.
these are barriers to entry. Anything that stops you from entering a market is called barriers to entry. All right. Okay. Sorry, I made a mistake here. It's not. It's just reverse. Here it is low barriers to entry. Let me write it down. Low barriers to entry. And here it is high barriers to entry.
Okay.
High barriers to entry. So low barriers to entry means barrier means something that blocks you, that stops you, right? So when you are in the perfect competition, no one is going to stop you. There is low or no in some market, zero barrier to entry. So if you want to become a vegetable shopkeeper or a fish market seller, you can just do it tomorrow, right? There's not much legal requirement. There's not much cost involved. You don't need to have a BBA degree. You don't need to have a university degree, or you don't need any experience to start to operate in this industry, right? In this level.
Yes.
So that is why here the barrier of entry is low. Okay. But as you move above, the barriers keep increasing and increasing. So when you want to start a bank, there are only 3 or 4 banks, right, in the country. It's not easy to open a bank. You need a license. You need lots of money. You need lots of investors, right? Who is gonna give you the money to start the banks? And then maybe you have to have a degree, right? There is also education requirement. You need to have an MBA, maybe, for example, or BBA, bachelor's degree in business. So these are barriers to entry. That is why you don't see not many people doesn't have the guts to come and fight with them, because the companies that are already there, the 3 or 4 or 6 companies that are already there, they have to spend a lot of money. They have to go through a lot of hassles to operate at this level. Okay, so as a new company, it will be difficult for you to enter this market because of high barriers to entry. There are so many barriers. The cost is the barrier. The license is another barrier. So there are many barriers. Understood, Adam?
Yes, sir.
And the barriers is
Yes.
even more. The barriers is even more in a duopoly, right?
Yep.
Because there are only 2 competitors. That means they are so good, or they are charging price at such a low level
Irish.
that you cannot compete with them, right? If you charge the same price, you
Gonna
cannot
get
just afford it.
lost.
You'll have a loss, right? So they are expert, right? They know the tricks. They know how to, let's say, manufacture the mobile phone at half the cost than other firms. They have some special technique or special technology, secret technology. You don't know that. So you cannot dare to fight with them. Okay. So the barrier is even higher at this level. And when you talk about monopoly, obviously, here the barrier is the highest. So there must be some reason why only he is the king in the whole market, right? Actually, you will see in some country, some of the monopoly are government owned. For example, you cannot open a transport business in Australia because only the government has the permission, the legal right to operate as a transport provider. So only the government can provide you bus, can provide you train. Okay, you cannot open a private train company. You cannot just go in Australia and open a private train company, or even an Australian people cannot just start a private bus company or train company. That is an example of monopoly. Is it clear, Adam?
Yes, sir.
So monopoly means only one supplier, only one, mono. Okay. And you'll see in
Right.
many countries, the monopoly are actually owned by the government. All right. Usually, in many cases, just to protect the people. For example, in Australia, the government controls the train and bus because they don't want people to pay high prices for bus and train. Because if there is a private company, the private company might charge them high price, right, for the train ticket, or the bus ticket. So that is why the government said no. For the for the next 100 or 1,000 years, or for eternity, only the Australian government will be the provider of transport services. Right. You'll see in some Middle East country, maybe the government owns the water company, right? Because water is a basic necessity, right? You cannot give them in the hands of the suppliers or other competitors. So they control the supply of water, the mineral waters, and that is government owned, and they supply it at a cheaper price. So if the government has made a rule that only he will provide water, only he can do business with water, do you think you can go and compete with him?
No.
You cannot, right? You'll go to jail because they're protected by legal rights. Okay. So here this is the highest form of barriers to entry. Something you cannot even imagine about breaking. So I hope now it's clear about you, right?
Yes,
Perfect
sir. Understand.
So here it is called perfect competition, right? Because perfect competition is intense, right? And everyone knows the techniques and the tricks, right? Everyone knows how to produce potato. Everyone knows how to catch fish. So there is, we call this symmetric knowledge or perfect knowledge, right? Everyone knows the tricks. But as you start going up and up, okay, people start doing secret things, right? Maybe they have a secret way. They have a high barrier to entry. Knowledge is also a barrier to entry, right? Knowledge and experience, because these guys at this level, they are more smart. Okay, they are also smart because they have some secret technique or secret knowledge or more experience, right? And that also acts as a barrier. And that is why only this is the perfect competition. And as you start going up, it becomes imperfect.
Imperfect.
Right? Imperfect, yes. Because there is a difference.
Less competition.
Yes, there is less competition, and even there is a difference in knowledge. For example,
True.
The way Google produces is not the same way Apple produce, right? They have their own separate secrets, and they will never share them, right? And they will never know. A Google employee will never know the technique or the secret of an Apple firm, right? So that is why it's getting more imperfect as we go up.
Okay.
All right, fine. So this was important for you because now you understand better. So in competition-based pricing, of course, we need to think about this pyramid. Where are we? Are we sitting at the top? Are we the king?
Or are we at the bottom?
Or are we oligopoly? Or are we at the bottom? Because you see, that will actually give you the control on the price, right? If you're sitting at the bottom, don't expect to have control over your price, because only the king, only the monopoly can do that. All right. But if you're sitting somewhere in oligopoly, yes, maybe you can control the price, but be careful, because the other firms might take revenge as well. They might also call retaliation. They might also cut down their price, and then you'll be in trouble. Ultimately, all of you will lose money. So be careful about what you do.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
so
I want to understand more.
Okay, good. So first of all, we have something called price leadership. So what is price leadership? Price leadership is it happens in a market where there is a dominant firm. So maybe they're talking about one firm, dominant firm. So
monopoly.
Monopoly, yes. Okay. And all right, sorry. One dominant firm and other firms simply charge. Okay. So this is a different scenario. There is one big firm and there is other small firms in there. Okay. So the big firm actually is the leader and he decides the price, and the other firms just follow him.
Okay.
So this is called price leadership. So you're the big boss. So that means whatever price you charge, other small firms is going to follow you. because no one can actually charge a different price than you because you're the expert in this market. Okay, they're just going to follow your price. Okay. Some markets have a number of firms the same size, but prices are still similar in order to avoid the price war. So maybe they're talking about oligopoly here, right? So in oligopoly, they charge a similar price. Maybe they compete on quality, right? They want to make their product a bit different than the other product, but they really don't want to fight with the price because that's harmful for everyone in that market. And then there's something called destroyer pricing. So the name itself is telling you what kind of pricing it is. It is a pricing where you actually deliberately undercut the price. Maybe you are selling at below your cost even. All right. Why? Because you want to kill the other competitors. So for example, everyone is selling, let's say, a bottle of mango juice at $20, but you sell it at $5. Maybe the cost is $10. Okay, maybe the cost of each bottle of mango juice is $10, and the competitor, everyone in that industry or market, is selling it as $20. So you come in and you sell at $5. So it is very surprising, right? Everyone is shocked.
Yes.
Because you are selling at a price that is even lower than the cost. Okay, and it is a loss for you, but still you are selling it. Why? Because you want to destroy the competitor. You want to force them out of the market because no one can sell at $5. Maybe you are a rich guy. Maybe you are.
Therefore, people will come to your place even more often than the competition.
Right, of course. In fact, the competitors will go out of market. All the customers will come to you now. No one will go to the competitors because that's like an impossible price, right? $5 for a bottle of juice. So once you do that, your competitor will die. They will be forced out of market. So this is called destroyer pricing. And very few firm has the guts to do it. They need a very rich investor to support them. Okay, they will need Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates to as the investor if they want destroyer pricing. Okay, someone like Bill Gates or some millionaires. Okay, anyway, and then there is some pricing that is based on the customers. Okay, so for example, perceived value pricing. Perceived value is you charge a price that will actually tell your customers about the image of your product. Remember the perfume example I gave you?
Yeah.
Okay. So similarly, think about Rolls-Royce. You know about Rolls-Royce, right?
Yes, the car.
Yes.
Everyone knows that.
Right. So Rolls-Royce, the engine or the car or the body of Rolls-Royce is very similar to some other cars as well, right? Cheaper cars. But still Rolls-Royce charge a very high price, premium price. Why is that? Because they want to portray Rolls-Royce as, image. They want to portray the image of Rolls-Royce as such that it is used by only millionaires, only rich guys. Okay, that is the value of Rolls-Royce. So based on the value or the image of your product, you choose the pricing. That is called perceived value pricing. All right. Okay. And it will depend on the prestige of or the brand, prestige of the brand, maybe luxury items. Okay, those things. Okay. Another type is called price discrimination. So I think you understood price discrimination in one of the previous class. I used an example of the airplane, right? In an airplane, you charge for the same service or almost the same service. You charge different price to different people, right? For example, you charge maybe $800 to the economy travelers, but you charge $2,000 to the business class travelers, right? That is called price discrimination. Okay. So let's look at the definition here. They're saying it takes place in a market where it is possible to charge different groups of consumers different prices for the same product. For the same product. Now this is important. Okay. They're not selling you something different. Same product, but they're charging different group, different prices. Can you think and tell me another example of price discrimination?
Another example.
Yeah.
The airplane is, for
Maybe
example,
peak
the
and off peak
business.
time, peak and off peak time, right? For example, when you call someone during the peak hours is like usually from the morning up till midday, because that's the busiest time, right? Because so many office people calls and the business people calls each other. So that's peak time. So the rate at that time will be higher, okay, rather than off peak times. The rate will be lower at off peak times. Similarly, for example, even during Christmas, you see that the plane fares are higher, double, almost double, right? You know that, right? In if you want to book a hotel at Christmas time, during
very cheap.
Christmas or during Eid al-Fitr, you see that the price is higher, right?
Higher. Oh,
Higher,
okay.
higher. Yes, usually the price is higher during Christmas and Eid times, because that is the season, the festival time. Okay. So
Oh,
they charge a different price in Eid, different
different time.
price in other months of the year. So the product is the same, right? It's the same hotel or the same resort, but they're charging their price based on the situation,
Differently.
different price in a different situation, or to different groups. They're charging different price for the customer who want to go in it, and a different price for the customer who want to go outside of the it, or different.
Oh, it's like when you go to the movies, right? The
Yeah, yeah.
students get a discount and the
Right,
adult
right,
doesn't
right.
get.
Exactly. Even in the movies, if you want to sit at the back, you have to pay a higher price, right? The ticket price is
Yeah.
higher. Because when you sit at the back, you get a very nice view, right? A better view of the screen. So it's the same screen, right? It's the same cinema hall, same screen, same movie, but
Position.
different ticket price based on the group of customers. Different group pays different price.
Okay.
That's called price distribution. Clear now?
Yes, sir.
So next we have dynamic pricing. So what is dynamic pricing? Dynamic pricing is you can change the price anytime, very frequently, based on the customer's need. And it is often used in e-commerce. For example, let's say you bought football, right, from Amazon.
Okay.
So that data will be stored in your computer through cookies. You know what cookies?
Yeah, cookies, this one.
Okay. So since you bought a football, what's the next thing you need? Maybe you need a shoe, sports shoe, right? Or a soccer shoe. So that is why when you search soccer shoe in Amazon, Amazon will already know or have the data that you already bought a football. So shoe is more necessary to you now, more important to you now. So maybe they will charge a higher price to you because they have tracked that you have already bought a football. So you must need a shoe now. So they will charge a higher price to you. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Compared to me, for example, I'm a teacher. So I never bought a football. Maybe I'm just planning to buy a shoe to give as a gift to my brother. Okay. So for me, they will, when I go to the Amazon website, for me, when I open the page or when I search shoes, maybe for the exact same shoe, they will charge me, let's say, $100. But for you, they'll charge you $120. So why the extra $20? Because the computer has cracked, or computer knows that you have recently bought a football. So the shoe is actually more of a necessary to you, more necessary to you than me. Okay. So this is called dynamic pricing. And even you can even give since you are operating online in e-commerce and website, it's easy for you to increase the price or decrease the price within a short time, right? So this is called dynamic pricing. Dynamic means you fix the price very frequently, very constantly. Okay. So today it's $10. Tomorrow you might charge $8. The after tomorrow you might charge $15 based on the demand. How many people are actually searching for your product online? Okay. You have that information if you have that.
All right, understand.
Okay. Now, when you are a new product, when you are actually releasing a new product into the market, there are some specific method or pricing method you can use. One of them is penetration pricing. Another one is market skimming. All right. So what is penetration pricing? Penetration pricing is when you enter the market at a low price. Okay.
A low price.
And then when you gain experience, when the time goes, you start increasing the price. Okay. Now this could be true for Xiaomi, right? Because if you remember,
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
because Xiaomi back in 2015, the prices were really low compared to iPhone or compared to Samsung, or at that time I think there was even Nokia or Google Plus. Compared to all other sets, Xiaomi's quality was almost same, right? Very similar. They had good cameras. I'm just talking about mobile phone, not other devices. So the price was low, right? Price was low, and everyone become happy. All the customers, they bought so many Xiaomi products, Xiaomi phones. But as Xiaomi after 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, slowly, very slowly, they started increasing the price because now they are popular, right? Now they have got lots of customers who trust their brand, who wants to buy Xiaomi products, right? Who trust in their quality. So now they can charge slightly higher prices. And as the time goes, they keep increasing the price more and more. It's not the same as when they started as a new company. So this is called penetration method or penetration strategy. The word penetrate means you are going into, right? You're penetrating. For example, you're penetrating a wall. So this low price will help you to penetrate the market, to get all the customers when you're new, all right? And once you penetrate the market, once you get popular,
You increase the market.
Right, then you start increasing the price. Right?
Oh.
And then the second type is called market
Market
skimming.
scheme.
All right? So this pricing strategy is to maximize the short-term profit. Okay. Here, you start with a very high price. Now, what's the reason? The reason is you have something which no one else have, something unique.
Oh.
All right. So maybe, let's say, when there was no video gaming console in the world, Nintendo was the first one to come up with the gaming console, and it was something very new, right? People did not have any idea about gaming consoles, so that's why they charged a really high price. Okay. Because they were the king at that time. There was no Sony with PlayStation. There was no Microsoft with Xbox. Nintendo was the king. Okay, so that's why they charge a really high price, and they earn millions and millions of dollars. This is true case. Okay, millions of dollars. Their weekly revenue was in millions, and yearly was probably in billions. They earned so much money. But later, Sony came up with PlayStation, right? As the time moved on, because Sony guys, they started researching with it, right? Microsoft guys, they started researching with it. And as the time went by, after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, new firms entered the market. Sony released the PlayStation 1. And then Microsoft, in 2005, Microsoft introduced the Xbox 360, right? And as a result, Nintendo cannot charge the high price anymore, because now there are other companies with gaming consoles. So what he needs to do, he needs to reduce the price. As the time goes by, and as there are more competition, the price has to be reduced. Otherwise, you can't survive, right? But this is called skimming. You know, skimming is taking something off at the top of, you know, when you maybe pour a milk, there is some foam at the top. And skimming means when you're taking off the foam from the top. So here it's called skimming because you are taking the initial revenue, the money from all the customers in the market, right? Because you have no competitors who has the same product as you, right? You have a really good new product with a really unique idea, something very different and unique, right? So you get all the money, you earn millions of dollars. But after some years, new competitors come in and you have to reduce your price, and you reduce your. And you really don't need to worry, because in the first year you earn so much money that you can live the rest of your life easy.
Yeah, true.
You don't really need to worry about competition. Okay. So this is called skimming. All right.
So
maybe
Xiaomi uses penetration.
Yes. Maybe you can write penetration pricing. Then you have to prove it. Okay. So maybe use some data information because nowadays there are lots of information in Google.
Yep. True.
So maybe you choose a specific device. You can't obviously compare all the device. Maybe choose 2 or 3
Specific
devices.
device.
Smartphone.
Okay.
Maybe you can start with smartphone even. No problem.
All right.
So you
okay,
take
okay.
information. So you see that in 2015, the average price of the smartphone was, let's say, $800. But after 5 years, the average price of the smartphone was $1,300. And then in 2020, the average price of the smartphone was maybe $1,900. So that will
Oh.
actually prove that they are using penetration.
Penetration.
pricing, okay.
Oh, okay.
They entered the
Understand.
market. Yes. You can even compare with the other mobile phones as well. For example, you can
Other
show
models.
that in 2015, the price of Apple was $2,000. The price of Samsung was $1,800. But the price of Xiaomi was only $700. So that will also prove that they use this penetration strategy.
Okay.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
Very good. All right. I think we're actually done with this chapter. So there's just a few other concepts, small concept. For example, I'll tell you what's this. Psychological pricing. Psychological pricing is when you want to influence the mind of the people, of the customers. For example, when you sell something with $999, I'm sure you have seen this as well, right?
Apple.
Right. So instead of 1,000, you are just saying it as 999, because in my mind, I will actually think it as less than 1,000, right? Or something in the 900 category. So that is why I won't be really concerned. I won't say that, oh, if it was instead of 999, if it was 1,000, look, it's 4-digit, right? Here it's 3-digit. So even though it's just $1 or $2 difference, in my mind will tell me, oh, it's above 1,000, it's expensive. But here it's saying me, oh, wow, it's less than $1,000. Let's buy it. Okay. Even though it is just a difference of $1 or $2. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So they are playing around with your mind with psychological pricing, right? Okay. And then you remember the perfume example I gave you. If you set your price of perfume at too low, it's gonna send a negative image for your brand, okay, or the quality of your product. So people are not gonna buy it. Again, that is also, so what you do, even if the quality of your perfume is low, you charge a high price. So in that case, people might think,
psychology.
yes, people might think, oh wow, this is expensive.
Good quality.
Right, good quality. Or maybe some people will think that, okay, since it's expensive, it's not a common perfume. Not everyone can buy it. So I will buy it, okay? Because I want to be unique. I want to be different than others. So again, psychological pricing. Okay. All right. So level of competition, I've already explained. Okay, it's the thing that we just learned. You can still revise it. So I have explained psychological pricing. There's something called loss leader. So loss leader is actually you set low prices for some products. Okay.
Okay.
So that you want to bring in customers to your shop, and the loss in that product will actually be covered up by other products which the customers buy. For example, I'll tell you, in Sydney, when I was in Sydney, everyone needed coffee, right? So there was intense competition among the coffee providers. So they had to sell the coffee at even below their cost. They were not making any money with coffee, even selling the coffee at loss. But the question is, why were they still operating? They should have closed down their business and go home, but they didn't do that. Why are they still operating? Because when the people enter the shops to buy coffee, they also buy sandwich. They also buy cake.
They buy other products as well.
Exactly right. So maybe they are making a loss in the coffee, but they are making a profit on the cake. They are making a profit on the sandwich, on the burger, right? So it's not a matter for them. It's okay, it's fine. So this is a technique. This is called loss leader. That means they sell a specific product at a loss to get profit on the other products. Okay, their intention is just to get the attention of the customers, just to bring customers into the shop. Clear? Interesting, right?
Yes, sir.
Very interesting.
So,
Okay.
sir, about Xiaomi, right?
Yeah. You can talk about penetration pricing. Yes, you can talk about penetration pricing, and yeah, you have to prove. Okay, you get the data. For example, you get the data.
They need 3 pricing strategies, sir.
Oh, they need 3 pricing strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, if there is 3 pricing strategy, maybe you can also talk about discrimination. You have to actually do some research. Okay, you have to find out if if for the same product, maybe for the same product they're charging a different price in Malaysia but a different price in India. Right? It's possible.
Oh.
Okay, in that case, it will be price discrimination, right? You can use
so
that.
in countries as well, it counts as
Yeah.
price discrimination.
Yeah, you can actually compare between countries as well. So maybe they're selling a same product at a different price during the Christmas time, but at a different price during the normal time.
Oh,
it's even possible, right? So you need to do some research about that. Okay, and then if you see that some of their product is being changed, because I think Xiaomi sells online, right? They have online portal. So if you notice that some of their products the prices are being changed very frequently, then that means they're using dynamic pricing, right? They're using the information from collecting data from customers, and accordingly they are fixing the price automatically. So
okay,
that could be an example, right? And they might even use perceived value pricing as well, right? So maybe they want to portray an image about good quality, right? Good quality at a moderate price. So maybe that's why their price is not too high, not too low, at a moderate level currently. Okay, that might be perceived value pricing. So you can use whatever method from here you want. You just have to give a proper reason. You have to give a proper reason.
Proper research, technically.
Right, proper research or correct, true information, correct information.
Okay. So I'll try and write the pricing part, then I'll send it to you for the.
Yeah, sure. I'll check it. Okay. Never do the final submission without without checking with me. All right. Okay. I think you did that once for economics, but that's okay. It was a mistake, but don't do it again. All right. I'll check the final work and then you can submit.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So there's something called. There's just 2 more things and we'll be done for today, inshallah.
All right, sure.
So the first thing is non-price competition. Non-price competition is when you are not changing the price, you're not cutting the price to get more customer, but rather you're focusing on the quality. All right. So you're thinking, okay, I cannot reduce the price anymore because it might cause a price war or it might reduce my profit. So rather what I'll do, I'll keep the price same, but I'll increase my product. I'll increase the quality of my product. Okay. So you are focusing on the quality to get more customers. So that is called non-price competition. That means you are not focusing on the price. You're not declaring a war on price, but rather you are focusing on the quality or other promotional strategies. Okay, to get more customers.
Okay.
And then there's another thing called collusion. And collusion is, for example, when you secretly deal with each other. All right. That means it is called cartel. Okay, it is sometimes called cartel. It means you form a secret deal to increase the price collectively. Okay, so you call the other 3 competitors. Let's say you have 4 competitors in the market. You call the other 3. You arrange a secret meeting and you say, "Hey, people cannot choose any other competitors or any other product other than our 4 products, right? The products from our 4 companies. So let's fix a price. Let's make a deal that none of us will sell the product below $100. Okay, none of us will sell the product. The price will be fixed at $100. So that is a cartel. Okay, and this is more common for oil companies. Okay, in Middle East, you'll see there are lots of oil cartels. They form a cartel and they fix the price. Okay, and the customers are forced, in a way, indirectly forced to pay that price. They cannot choose because there is no other option, right? All the 4 or 5 companies has fixed the price together. They have made a deal. So there's nothing you can do, unfortunately. You must buy with that price. So this is called collusion. Okay, that means joining together and fixing a price, fixing a price to charge to the customers, and it happens mostly in the oligopoly market. Okay, mostly in the oligopolies. Okay, Adam, clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So thank you very much. I think there you have learned a lot today. The class was a bit lengthy. I think it was like altogether
Oh,
it was
it's
like
okay, sir. It's okay.
1 or 45 or 50 minutes. But I hope it did not bother you. Okay.
I understand more.
You
That's the
understand more.
important
Yeah.
part.
Right. Exactly. Okay. All right. So what you need to do now, you need to start doing some research in Google. Okay. Find out
Okay,
data.
sure.
Find out information about Xiaomi. Choose some specific products. Maybe mobile phone. Maybe wristwatch, smartwatch. Okay. Maybe other devices. Okay. And find out. Okay. I think it's most probably to be penetration pricing. But before you write that, you can also find the proof. Okay. Find
I think
the
there's a lot of proof about price
Right.
penetration.
And you can also write about the benefits, some advantages of penetration pricing, maybe some disadvantages.
Sure.
All right. All these things are mentioned in the book. And you can also watch this record again. Okay, if you forget anything. All right. Okay, then thank you very much. I'm not giving any homework because you haven't finished the previous homeworks yet. So what you do is you work on your project, and beside that, you also try to finish the previous homeworks.
All right, sure.
All right. Okay. So I'll see you on Tuesday, inshallah.
All right. Also, my
Yeah.
group is now is communicating again.
Okay, that's good. That's a good thing.
Thanks to you, sir. You give me the idea. I go talk to them.
All right. Yeah, communication is always the key. You communicate and you just try to tell them if you can help in any way. All right, and that also helps.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll see you on Tuesday, inshallah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum.